The Lunaverse by Rainbow Double Dash, Episode 13, Carrot Top Season by Grassy Clouds 2, Chapter 1, Carrot Top and Trixie Moon. It was market day in Ponyville, and all the farmers were in Sarah town selling their wares. "Hello," said Carrot Top to the pink pony with blue mane who was pursuing her stall. "How can I help you today?" Alice smiled up at Carrot Top before returning her gaze to the stand. "Do you have carrot juice?" "Yes, we do." The farmer pointed to behind her a few barrels. "Would you like a glass?" "Oh, I'm not thirsty right now, but the Lotus and I were discussing adding a health drink bar to the spa. If we were to include carrot juice, do you think you would be able to supply us? We're anticipating selling 5 barrels a week or so." Carrot Top blinked a few times, while she made sure she heard Aloe correctly. Most of the catering contracts in the area went to the Apple Trust as a matter of course. The restaurant's similarity bought from the apple farms in far greater quantities than any of the others. Any new stream of revenue was a welcome sign, and selling 5 barrels of carrot juice a week certainly counted as revenue. "Yes," she managed at last. Yes, of course. We'd be happy to supply you." "Wonderful." The two hashed out the numbers quickly. Carrot Top wasn't what one might call a great negotiator, often selling her products for less than what she could consider to push harder. But she was generous by nature, and couldn't find it in her to squeeze every possible bit out of her customers. As such, it didn't take them long to come to a deal. "There is just one thing, though," said Aloe. "What?" "Well, our customers need to know they're getting the healthiest food we can provide. Before we receive our first order, we'll need you to have a batch of your carrots put through a nutritional analysis." "A what?" Carrot Top frowned. "I can tell you what vitamins are in carrots, if that's what you mean." "No, I mean, we just need to see that your carrots meet our standards. Our customers will accept only the healthiest foods, so we're having all of our juice vendors get their drinks inspected by an external group." "My carrots are healthy. I don't take any shortcuts growing them," said Carrot Top, hurt. "Come on, Aloe, you know that." "Yes, but we still need to be able to guarantee the quality of the drinks to our customers. Nothing against you, but we have to see the evidence so we can tell our customers that we're certain they're getting the purest and most nutritious drinks we can find. Besides, if your carrots are as healthy as you say they are, all the analysis would do is prove that. What's the problem?" She had a point. "I guess I understand that. Who does these analyses?" "There's a lab in Canterlot that we've had good success with. They even give us a discount." Aloe smiled. "The boss there makes up some reason to visit Ponyville at least once a month. She says that we give a far better spa treatment than anywhere in Canterlot. I tell him that you're with us. Shouldn't cost you more than—" She named a figure. The rather high figure. "That much?" Carrot Top couldn't help but gasp. "Is that a problem?" Aloe frowned. Carrot Top paused. "I mean, if it's no hard feelings, we're small business owners too. We totally understand having to prioritize what you spend your bits on." Al smiled gently and took a carrot. "How much for this, by the way? It looks really good." "2 bits." Al tossed it into the cup. "But if you can't do it, please let us know as soon as possible so we can go to our backup plan." "The apples?" guessed Carrot Top. "Yes, Lotus just wanted to start with them, actually, but apples have so much sugar that we thought we'd try you first." "I can do it," Carrot Top said, quickly as he could. "I'll get the carrots sent out tonight." "Then you should get the results by next Wednesday. Send them to us and we can provide the carrot juice deal." Alice smiled and began to walk off. "Looking forward to doing business with you." "Yeah, you too." But Carrot Top's smile fell as soon as Aloe walked off. Where was she going to get that kind of money? They would basically use up the rest of the reward money that the court had given her for helping to save the world from Corona. Actually, this would completely use it up. It would go beyond that once shipping was factored in. Well, she might be able to hold off on fixing the south fence for another week. And if she held off on taking that day trip to Huffington this weekend, that would free up some more money. Yes, it could work. She just had to work a little harder, that's all. "Thank you very much." Carrot Top turned to see Applejack, healthy, filthy rich, one of Ponyville's richest ponies, loaded a large pallet of jars of Jab Apple Jam onto his back. Filthy Rich dumped a whole bag of bits onto the counter. Blazer doing blazes with ya." Carrot Top forced herself to look away. She didn't have time to worry about the apples in their much more successful farm. She had her own stall to run. "Hey, Carrot Top, Gotta talk to ya." She turned to see Berry Punch, who looked unwell. more so than usual. The lavender mare was cozzing her head. You okay? Asked Carrot Top, though she had a pretty good idea what was wrong with you. Was trying out some new mixes last night. Got a little carried away. Berry Punch shook her head. Hangover from Tartarus. Don't suppose you could sell me one of your cure-alls? Carrot Top nodded. Her knowledge of herbology was useful when it came to medicines for common ailments, and she discovered a good hangover cure that wasn't too hard to mix up. Any of the drinks make the cut? Yeah, one. I'm calling it the Rainbow Dash. Uses just a little bit of liquid rainbow. Got a real kick. Barry smiled, but unfortunately, she opened her eyes wider to do so, which was a poor idea considering her mind grate. Ow! Here, said Carrot Top, rapidly setting a cup on the table and offering Berry Punch the straw. Berry gulped it down. Thanks, Carrot Top. You're a lifesaver. How much? 6 bits, said Carrot Top. Berry Punch hesitated. Wait, she dug around in her saddlebag. Only have 4. That's fine. Don't worry about it, said Carrot Top. It cost 5 bits of ingredients to make the hangover tonic. Carrot Top knew, then, that she should pace it around 8 or 9 bits to recoup the other costs, electricity, transport, and make a little profit for herself. But the farmer had always trouble charging more than a bit or two for overcosts for the medicine. A few ponies insisted on paying more anyway. Trixie was the other big buyer for this particular item, and she at least paid what it was worth. Most didn't. And now Barry was 2 bits short. And this wasn't the first time. For every 4 times that Barry bought the tonic, she tended to be a short bit or two once. Carrot Top tried to sell herself that she should refuse to sell it to Barry, that she had to make a living and at least sell at cost. But she couldn't bring herself to leave that mare in obvious pain. Still, though, her mind ran the numbers as she began calling more customers to her store. 1 bit lost. So that's 1 more you owe me now. Might want to put off getting that new workout. Carrot Top hated when it seemed like she would go into the market, try to sell her carrots, and end up losing money. It would be nice if, just once, she could get enough bids to leave a little breathing room. Then she wouldn't be so stressed by bad days. I could do it if I just tossed more and pushed harder. If I was more businesslike, like the apples. Oh, who am I kidding? I think that every week, and I never do it. It's higher! It's higher! Carrot Top turned, a very loud fall rang down the street. I am returning! It's finally higher! It's higher highest! Apple Blue was practically doing cartwheels as he galloped down the lane. Bring me in about 10 howl, let's all turn out to see a monster here until another bike lane! Hey, Apple Blue? What's higher? Asked out Applejack. She smiled knowingly. She already knew, then, and they were just putting on a show for the other ponies. What's that? Cried Lily as she dodged to one side. Apple just kept running, voice raising in joyous celebration. Look, I know a great equestrian farm competition higher again! Apple Bloom did an impromptu somersault and almost wound up in the town fountain, but she righted herself and kept going, Yee-haw! All the customers headed to town to hear the speeches, so Carrot Top decided to go too. Wasn't much point selling carrots and no pony was around to buy them. Hey, said Trixie, trying up behind Carrot Top. What's going on? Big farming competition, said Carrot Top, pointing with one hoof at Town Hall. It was freshly decorated with banners and streamers, most in the apple trusses, red and green colors. It's held in Canterlot. Don't you know about it? I never really was into gardening, mused Trixie. Don't think it ever caught my eye. Carrot Top glared at her. Gardening? Trixie seemed on face. What? The Carrot Top farmer sighed. It would be nice to actually pull off a good glare once in a while. Anyway, she nodded at the big stage and the large tables in front of it that were set up with the various apple products. Farms from all over Equestria compete to produce the best produce and dishes. The winner gets a huge pile of money. Well, you should enter it then. Tracy grinned and nudged Carrot Top. You've got great crops. Yeah, but... Attention, please. It was Mayor Scrolls, speaking for the podium. Once again, the annual Great Equestria Farm Competition is upon us. And as always, Applejack and the Apple Trust have agreed to enter and represent Ponyville. There was polite hoof claps from the audience. As many of you no doubt recall, the Apple Trust has won prize money for the past 10 years straight, and each year they have donated 1/4 of their winnings to Ponyville. March years. Most recently, they were the runner-up in the competition last year, and the donations allowed us to refurbish the town hall and put some money into the town disaster refund. That money was used just a short time ago to repair some of the damages to our village after the, incident. There was more applause, hooves noisily drumming along the cobblestone. The Apple Trust has once again pledged and advanced to donate 1/4 of their winnings to the town. Please join me in giving a warm welcome thank you to Applejack! Applejack, having just entered from the stall area, took the podium. Friends and fellow Ponyville citizens, it's an honor to represent this here town before farmers from all over Equestria. Once again, I swear to do you proud. I have to work real hard to take home the big prize. There were cheers. I think we all recall how awesome it was when we won the all 3 years ago, and we hope to do it again. Carrot Top Mr. Trixie. That's the problem. The trust always does really well. They just beat me and I beat out the registration fee. Well, with an attitude like that, sure, Trixie frowned. How do you know they'd win? How many Ponyville teams entered last year? Just the trust. They're always the only team from Ponyville. No point in any pony else trying. I guess we could all better hang on. We don't have the resources to compete against them. A farm's even bigger than they are. Besides, they always give some of the prize money back to the town, so it looked rude to challenge them. Like I was trying to take money from some pony else. Rude? Trixie raised an eyebrow. Really? Come on, Carrot Top. You know they could give that money to the town and not notice the loss, even if they didn't enter it. It's just Applejack trying to look good. I know, but besides, it's not like Applejack's really popular. Who's going to care if you try to show her up? Maybe Applejack herself isn't, but every pony in town respects the trust. They provide a lot of food around here, and like Applejack said, they do donate money to the town. Going against them, well, you know how Applejack is. She'd probably make me out to be unpatriotic or something. Trixie chuckled. Who cares what she thinks? I do, if my customers boycott me because of it. For the stage, Applejack beamed. Now, in celebration of our upcoming victory, I believe the mayor's provided a little something to eat. Well, chuckled the mayor, it's you who provided it, Applejack. I had just a few ponies set on the tables. Applejack laughed. The places there are going to knock the hands off the justice called the family's thinking. You should really think about it, asserted Trixie, as they watched the other ponies get in line and eat. Trixie, come on. You've got a great shot. We both knew it. Look at it this way. You know I'll help you, so will the other elements. Your carrots that are more than a match for any of their apples. I'm sure the money would be helpful. It certainly would. Carrot Top would certainly think of what she would do with it. Take care of all the maintenance work that had been slowly piling up. Get new equipment. Maybe even a new irrigation system to replace her broken and crumbling pipes. Buy that plot of land just south of her farm. It was perfect for growing carrots. Maybe even take a short vacation. How long had it been since he got out of town for more than a day? But with that prize money, she could justify closing up for a few days in the winter and hanging out to Manhattan or Las Pegasus, or even Applejack. And if you're really worried about the town objecting, can't you just offer to donate 1/4 of the winnings too? Then the town might even make more money if both you and the Apple Trust place. How bad is that? It made sense. It's probably something that Carrot Top would do anyway, if she did take home some money. She just wouldn't hoard her winnings. That wasn't who it was. That's part of your problem. The familiar thought crossed her mind, and then was gone before Carrot Top could really focus on it. I know it's a risk, but we'll all help you as much as we can. Trixie smiled. Seemed a bit more sincere this time. In fact, I'll ask her around. Find a few ponies who can lend you the bits for the registration fee. Wouldn't it be worth trying? Carrot Top thought. She worked extremely hard to produce the best produce possible, and her customers confirmed that her product was good. Even then, if not for the trust gargantuan size, Carrot Top suspected she would have a good shot against him. And even with the size, having that kind of wind farm would be so nice. I could finally have a break. All right, she said. Trixie grinned. All right, I'll do it. My little pony, ah, my little pony. Friendship never meant that much to me. My little pony, but you're all here now I can see. Stormy weather, lots to share, a musical bond with loving care, teaching laughter, it's an easy feat, and magic makes it all complete. You have my little ponies. How did I ever make so many true friends? You're watching the Lunaverse, created by Rainbow Double Dash. It can happen only on the Hub. Presented by Hasbro. Live read by Marcel Fruit User. Sponsored by Gatorade. The knock on the door came in a few hours after Carrot Top had filled out her paperwork. Come in! Carrot Top hurried to the door. Her table was filled with ideas for recipes. She felt more energized and excited than she had in weeks. She was going to fight for her farm. Going to take on the Apple Trust. This was going to be fun. She opened the door to reveal a scowling orange pony.
Hi, Applejack.
Ah.
Carrot Top left the orange mare in. Oh, what's up?
What tarnations are you doing? I just got word from Mayor Scrolls that you entered your farm in the Candlelight Farm competition.
Yeah, I checked, and there's no rules saying only one team for visits.
That don't matter, Applejack sighed.
Look, here's the thing. It ain't that I'm against the competing in principle, but you gotta understand how to look to the judges. Some of the votes we get are from the judges who like Ponyville, or who like Rustic of Real Farms in general, instead of the industrial city ones. You think I'll split the Ponyville votes?
Applejack nodded. Yeah, exactly. Then maybe neither of us will place.
Do y'all know without mine? We'd be out the registration fees.
Dang it, Carrot Top! Fuck!
Every year we give some of our winners back to the town. They've come to Rhode Island. You know how bad the Ursula messed up the downtown area? And the relief money for Candlelight took weeks to get here? If it weren't for that disaster fund, there would have been a lot more ponies without their workplaces for a lot longer. If y'all make it so we don't place, then the town's sort money for the next year. I really don't think it's that serious. Come on, Applejack. The town don't depend on your farm winning this thing.
Applejack took Carrot Top like she had just told her that Ursas make great pets. What are you, crazy? Look,
if you had a good chance of winning, I understand. But you're practically a novice at this. You're going to hurt our chances. You're going to place yourself. So all you're doing is hurting the town. I'm a perfectly capable farmer, Applejack. I know you are. I'll never say otherwise. But this'll be your first big competition. You know how it is. You don't know how to impress the judges, or even who they are or what they like. Can you tell me which judge hates desserts, and which one's allergic to wheat? Or maybe which one's got a cousin who grows potatoes and always votes for a dish with tears in it? Hey, do you even know what to wear? Well, no, but then you don't have a shot. Applejack passed. Look, if you want to get in the competition world, I respect that. Heck, if you're going to enter one of the smaller ones, the farmers meet in Philadelphia next month, decent prize too, or the Rural Farmers Union Battle over by Hoovington, I'll support you. Us Ponyville gotta go stick together after all. But this is too important. This town needs this win. Frankly, still the Sweet Apple Acres. It ain't been a great year. Big Mac was sick during the sap apple harvest, and two of our biggest trees died of rot. There was one thing that Carrot Top found most distasteful about Applejack. It was the pony's insistence that her farm was perpetually close to bankruptcy. It was a lot better off than any other farm in Ponyville, after all. I'm competing, Applejack. That's all there is to it. That. We don't think we'll go easy on you. We'll play fair, mind you. No cheating, but we'll play hard. Applejack tipped your hat. I hope you don't regret this, Carrot Top. Right. Applejack slammed the door shut and bucked it shut. Chapter 2. Carrot Top and the Flim Flam Brothers. Carrot Top sighed and went back to her table. Applejack was probably going to tell all the other ponies in the village how Carrot Top was trying to make money out of their town's pocket. That would probably put a dip in her sales, which in turn would mean she'd no longer be on track to save up enough to overhaul her irrigation system by the end of the year like she'd been hoping. Well, she could just keep using her old well. At least it worked and could provide enough water. The doorbell rang. What? Carrot Top went back to the door. I'm sorry, but I'm kind of busy right now. Could you come back and...
Oh, well, don't worry about that.
The voice was completely unfamiliar.
For we have exactly what you need.
Oh, what you have is advice on how to win a farm competition?
Perfect! That's exactly what we have!
Puzzled, Carrot Top opened the door to see two tan ponies with striped shirts, hats, and goofy smiles. The one on the right had a thick red mustache. Who are you?
To see him smile. He's Flam! We're the world famous Flim Flam Brothers!
What?
We're traveling consultants, ponies, non-parade!
Consultants? The Carrot Top carried her head off the part of the table and gave the Flim Flam seats. They both accepted her offers of carrot juice, and then began expecting the recipes she left on the other end of the table.
Yes, consultants. Experts who can give you all the information you need to win your farming competition and take home first prize, said Flim. Trained and experienced gurus with intimate knowledge of everything from the newest cooking recipes straight from Candlelight to which spices will make the judges stand up and cheer, continued Flam. Every year we go through the farm competition's entrance and look for the farms that showed the most promise and just need that little spark to push them over top. And we decided our first candidate this year is you. You have great produce and enormous potential. She began speaking innocent. So, will you help us win the grand prize? First of all, said Carrot Top, who was unmoved by the flattery and somewhat offended by the offer, I don't need help. My carrots can stack up just fine against any other pony's produce. But good ingredients alone don't get you a victory, said Flim. The recipes also must be perfect, and the cooking techniques must be sublime.
My recipes and my cooking skills are both fine, said Carrot Top, not fully annoyed. While her food didn't sell nearly as well as that of the Apple family, she did still sell a decent amount of prepared products such as carrot cakes, carrot juice, and the carrot and raisin salads that Green Grape had recommended. According to her customers, she was doing a great job. Flem and Flan looked at each other. Then Flan took a photo album out of the salad bag. Why don't we look through a few of the late entries from last year? Intrigued, despite herself, Carrot Top leaned forward to look. The first disc looked more like an intricate sculpture than anything edible. This one was relatively simple, said Flam. It was made by the United Cucumber Growers, as you can tell. The slow roast of the cucumbers peeled the skin and makes the skins into a delicate glaze. The glaze contained 15 ingredients, commented Flim. Each and every one of them looked absolutely crystal. 15? Carrot didn't think she had made anything with 15 ingredients, let alone 15 just in the sauce. They also made a cucumber relish foam on the side there. What? Wait, what? Cucumber foam? Carrot Top wasn't even sure that was a real thing. On a side note for the live reader here, I checked online. Yeah, apparently that is a thing. Flam ignored her and continued. Now, the next one here is a little more characteristic of wedding dishes. It was a riot of colors, looking like a farmer's market had exploded on the plate. The Onion League did this one. Each one of those vegetables, and there's at least 12 into this, had to be cooked separately, its own particular way, and then added together to make the final product. Furthermore, said Flam, each one had to be cooked in such a slightly different way, and let the onions soak through. The carrots, as I remember, were a touch too sweet, and needed the onion's bite. The mushrooms were too tender, and needed the crunch. But that doesn't make sense. Wouldn't that make the dish taste worse? In less experienced hands, but the dish was played so perfectly that the onions practically sucked out of the vegetables. You had to be trying in order to take a bite of an onion without correcting the other ingredients. Every single mouthful was thus a testament of how great and powerful the onion was, and how necessary it was to fix the other vegetables. Incredible victory! Carrot Top blinked. A carrot dish won last year, too. See? They braised the carrots in a sweet broth. They included persimmons and jackfruit, glazed them with a maple honey reduction, and then gently cooked them until they were almost ready to fall apart. Melting your mouth quality there. And another group tried the same thing, but the carrots fell apart. They had to withdraw from the competition. Flam sighed. Sad, really. But then again, there were only a few ponies in all Equestria who could cook like this. Carrot Top looked at the photo, which showed a quartet of carrots that almost glowed from the sweet glazes. They looked so incredibly delicious that she was tempted to lick the photo itself. And then she looked at her carrot and raisin salad recipe, which also had a photo of the carrots, raisins, and salad haphazardly dumped in a bowl together. I don't have a chance. I thought it was just about the produce, but everybody else is doing these crazy fancy recipes. It's not that you're a bad cook, said Flam, smiling widely, but you just haven't had the experience in this type of thing. Fortunately, we have. We know about fine dining, and we're prepared to sell you our knowledge. Despite her shock at seeing she had to compete against, Carrot Top was a better business point to just blindly trust two total strangers who showed up from out of nowhere offering a solution to all her problems. Okay, let's say I'm interested. I need more details. First of all, how much would you help your cost? Well, we'll just split your winnings 75-25, said Flim. It's an incredible deal. Wait, who gets the 75? You, of course, said Flam. After all, you'll be doing all the cooking and competing, but in exchange for giving you the knowledge and training you need to win, a fourth of the pot is really quite reasonable. A fourth of the grand prize was a very large sum of money. Then again, 3/4 was even larger. And if I don't win anything? Then there'd be no charge, of course, since you wouldn't have benefited from our advice, said Flam. But why worry about that? We can practically guarantee you a placement in the top 5, which means a nice bag of bits to take home. Assuming they were telling the truth, that was one issue solved. But Carrot Top still had another concern with the offer. Okay, that sounds fair, but how do I know you've really got the skills you're talking about? I've never seen you cook, and no offense, but... A perfectly reasonable question, my mare, said Flim. We could very well still ask you to trust us, said Flam. Why, for all you know, we might be scam artists. Oh, heaven forbid. Or agents of the Apple sent here to give you bad advice. Well, I don't think they go that far, said Carrot Top. Applejack was a jerk, but she wasn't a cheater. So here's a special deal we'll make for you, said Flam, as if he hadn't heard her. We'll give you 1 day of training absolutely free. You'll like what you learn, and you'll agree to our terms. If not, we'll leave. No hard feelings. It sounded like a fair deal. A reasonable price with a fair trial period. There was just one final question. Then I guess what I'm wondering is, why me? Carrot Top paused. You'll have to know the apples could pay you more. Ah, but the apples don't need us. They place every year, said Flim.
They'd rather make a little less money than help a struggling smaller farm than make a more helping farm who doesn't need our help or the prize money either. We're not greedy, said Flam. We support the small farmer, the common pony.
Okay, that has to be a naked attempt to manipulate me, thought Carrot Top. It was too obviously geared toward winning her sympathy to be anything else. But then again, Carrot Top was annoyed when other ponies assumed that her generosity just masked some hidden motive. If the Flim Flam brothers really were just who they said they were, and really did honestly want to help the smaller farm win, it would be incredibly rude to try to pick apart their motives. And this wouldn't be against competition rules, would it? I mean, you're not a sacred part of my farm. I'm not sure I could take your help.
No other team has a problem with it, said Flim. Look at the Apple Trust. They're always hiring help. They hire scouts to learn everything there is to know about the judges. They hired chefs for Canterlot to help them train and prepare the latest dishes. Don't forget, when they paid that unicorn 2 years ago to attempt their apples to be even sweeter than they usually are, they say it was the best apple pie any pie ever tasted, as Flim said. I heard that Princess Luna herself ordered 3 helpings. Carrot Top scowled. She knew the Apple Trust had money to burn, but at some point it was just ridiculous. Yes, it really is unfair, said Flim, seeming to notice her expression. We'd be even the odds for you. Carrot Top didn't know what to do. It seemed like a perfectly fair business deal, and now she was realizing that she really would help for some pony just to have a help of competition against the food that was formed, flamed, or deconstructed, whatever the hey that meant. It just still felt like it was too good to be true, because the unicorn seemed so eager. Realistically, if Carrot Top said no, the Flim Flam brothers would be able to go to another small farm in the competition and try again. But they seemed fixated on getting her specifically to hire them. Then again, maybe she was just being paranoid. Maybe they really would have liked to a couple of helpful advisors who would support her and teach her what she needed to know. Was it impossible? It would be hardly wrong to throw them out if they were willing to tell the truth. I guess we could start with that. For day 3 thing, said Carrot Top, projecting a note of confidence into her voice. Splendid! Flint went to his hooves and withdrew a small bag of bits from his saddle bag. If you'll just sell us a few carrots, we can whip up a dish or two and show you what we've got tomorrow. I think you'll love them. I know you will. Yeah, oh, and take this. Flint produced a large binder. Recipes and notes on the judges. Again, just a small sample what we can teach you. Carrot Top set the binder down and made the carrot seal. Here you go. See you tomorrow, then, called Flam, as they both headed out the door. Have a good night's sleep, said Flam. I am get ready to be a winner! They both cried, excited. The rest of Carrot Top's evening was relatively uneventful. Trixie wasn't home, so Carrot Top left a message with Pokey Pierce to look into the Flim Flam brothers, just in case they were known scam artists or something like that. She also asked that Trixie come see her tomorrow. If she was serious about helping her win this competition, they needed to figure out what she could actually do. The Soulmare's default ways of helping were usually to use magic or sarcasm, and neither of those were likely to impress the judges. She then visited the bank to withdraw enough money to ship a batch of carrots to Canterlot for the small contract, and then a few other shops to get the supplies she needed that week. As usual, she ran out of money just before reaching the end of the list. I still don't know if I trust those stallions. Well, honestly, I could really use that reward money. And to get it, I think I need their help. Back to the farm to complete the chores for the day, harvesting, watering, and a little bit of basic maintenance while she still had the energy. The irrigation system was falling apart due to not having been serviced in far too long. She wrenched a half hour out of the other tasks and tried to fix the collapsed pipes. She managed to get a trickle of water flowing, which was at least progress, but not nearly enough for what she needed. She also fixed a few new fence posts onto the gap of her fence, but it didn't entirely plug the gap, but at least began to close it. That was something. When the day was over and Carrot Top was lying on her couch, she looked up at the ceiling. I need a vacation. She sighed, wondering bitterly how the apples were spending their evening. They had enough farm hands and money that they could enjoy a happy warm dinner together. They weren't so pressed for time that they had to scarf a carful of raw carrots into the field before resuming chores, after all. And now that the dinner was over, Applejack was probably reading Applebloom a story, while Big Mac rested by the fireplace. And maybe later they'd have a camp-out in the apple orchards with marshmallows and s'mores. Meanwhile, Carrot Top would be lucky as he found the strength to drag herself to bed. Her gaze fell upon the table and binder that the Flim Flam brothers had left her. She reached out and managed to grab it. If nothing else, it would be an interesting read. Chapter 1, she read, opening the book. Competition format. Well, a refresher on what would probably be a good idea, no matter what else had happened. Carrot Top propped herself up and began to read. Huh? Carrot Top yawned and opened her eyes. What happened? She was still on her couch,
but confused her for a moment before she realized he fell asleep reading. The binder was lying on her chest, open to a recipe for something called carrot foam, which apparently was all the rage at Carolot. That actually doesn't look too bad, mused Carrot Top. She wasn't really much for fancy food, especially she could never afford it. If she understood the recipe correctly, the carrot foam seemed like it would be a useful ingredient, something light and fluffy, tasting of carrot but without the crunch, to accompany the dishes with a pronounced texture but no carrot taste. The recipes had fascinated Carrot Top. Things like foams, gels, and aerosols, and also more traditional dishes using ridiculous techniques, or usual ingredients that she only knew about from her extensive knowledge of equestrian flora. Persimmons from Napon, sumac from Tenney, and even a special tea leaf from Trottingham that was used to make a sweet carrot soup. Infuse the broth with 2 teaspoons of Carrot Top special herb tea and allow to simmer for 1/2 hour, the book had said. The resulting broth would make for a spectacular carrot soup with an aroma and sweetness far superior to the conventional methods. And then there were sections on the judges. Flim and Flam hadn't been lying when they said their knowledge would be useful. The book was practically a guidebook for how to win the competition. The first round of judging, for instance, used 50 ponies, and each dish was judged by 3 of the 50. Of those judges, 30 loved foams and aerosols. 20 liked when carrots were paired with sweeter fruits. 40 always rejected any dish that involved deep frying. Carrot Top could hardly imagine more useful information. The doorbell rang, startling Carrot Top from her thoughts. Hello. Who's there?
It's us! It was Flynn's voice. Ready to start today? We've got lots to do!
Carrot Top rolled off the couch and bumped her head off the table. Growing, she managed to get over to do. Lots to do, she repeated, letting the unicorns inside.
Flam pushed a large wagon through the door. Indeed! If you're going to win this thing, then you need to know how to use all kinds of incredible ingredients to highlight the carrots of your farm. Spectacular spices to bring out the best aroma and flavor. A sublime size to isolate the weight and texture. Carrot Top's eyes widened as the 2 unicorns began to unpack the wagon. Most of the ingredients she had only seen in books or in the binder. Few she'd never seen it at all.
Where are all these from?
She managed, looking at a small spiky red fruit. The rambutan? Oh, those are from the eastern provinces, said Flam.
And this?
That jackfruit's from just outside of Nahon. Well, I think the first step is to see what you can do. Right, brother of mine? That's what I was thinking. Look at this or 2 and show us what you got, Carrot Top.
Wait.
Carrot Top frowned as he looked through the ingredients.
Where in Equestria did you get all these ingredients?
She wondered if she was going to get stuck with the bill. For a moment, Carrot Top thought that the unicorns looked unsure, but then Flam said, We're very familiar with the fine dining world. We have connections. If we ask an old friend or comrade for a half a dozen rambutans or a couple of jars of spice, they can deliver. And she smiled widely.
Right, but
really, you should get going. We only have 7 days carrying today. Every minute counts if you are going to overtake the trust.
They had a point. She needed their help to win. She knew that now. But she would need to actually start if she was going to benefit from their advice. She grabbed the binder and turned to the first page of the foam recipe and began.
Carrot Top had a blast.
Her first foam attempt was a disaster, but then Flam began to coach her. She improved very quickly. She had a remarkably easy-to-understand style of teaching, and after a few tries, she could produce a good carrot foam. And after the foam came other recipes and techniques, each one showing off a new way to make carrots taste great. They also worked on utilizing rare and exotic ingredients, even those normally thought of as dangerous, or weeds. Take Farm Slayer, for example. This was a small red and blue flower that could drain the flavor out of any edible plant. The resulting produce would look perfect, but would taste of nothingness. Carrot knew how to cure a Farm Slayer infestation, thanks to having read an ancient herbology book a while back. But she hadn't thought of how to use them in cooking. Flam showed her, though, how Farm Slayer could drain the taste of one ingredient with a good texture, like a cracker, and then another ingredient with great taste, but no texture, like spread or jam, could be added to it. The possible combinations allowed for many novel and delicious dishes, and Carrot Top wouldn't have thought one of them without Flamifine Brothers. And the study was also fulfilling. Carrot Top was learning all kinds of ideas for new ways to make carrots taste delicious, and this library here is also getting a lot of good ideas. Her customers would be thrilled when she began incorporating these techniques into the snacks they brought. Even Trixie, who with notoriously eclectic taste, would delight in Carrot Top's new products. Then, maybe, she could start taking a bite out of the Apple's monopoly on Ponyville produce. What could an apple pie do against a honey maple persimmon glazed carrot? You guys were a huge help, she said, as she and the brothers relaxed with Carrot's glasses of carrot juice. I wouldn't even bother to know if any of these dishes existed without you.
Splendid, said Flam. Does that mean you like to work with under the conditions we agreed on today? 1 week of training for 1/4 of your winnings, said Flam. No strings attached.
Carrot Top smiled. How could she turn them down now? She had been skeptical, but they proved themselves all day. She gladly hired them.
Some point began pounding on the door. Carrot Top! Carrot Top! Open up! It was Trixie. Got something really urgent to tell you. I'll be right back, said Carrot Top, hurrying to the door. She opened it. Trixie, well, what's going on? Trixie was smirking. Carrot Top felt her stomach sink. That was never a good sign. Pokey did give me your message. Oh, about the consultants. I was overreacting. Sorry to bother you. No, you weren't, she grinned as he entered. I did some digging. As it turns out, they bought donuts at Sugar Cube today, and they paid with this! Trixie held out what looked like an ordinary bit. I see you see it too. Carrot Top stared blankly. Trixie, moving so that Carrot Top was standing between her and the two stallions, quickly winked at her. Carrot Top frowned, but tried to play along. It was only to figure out what Trixie was getting at. Besides, they all doubted Trixie the last time she acted like this, and their friend Lyra almost suffered horribly for it. Yes, I see it. Oh, what's going on? Oh, what you're talking about? Every mint in Equestria is stamped with the mint location, said Trixie. Now, most bits in Ponyville comes from one or two Candlelight mints, but the money can be spent as the cube doesn't have the stamps from either of those mints. Gartal explained, examining a bit closely. Con 1 was printed at the bottom. What was Trixie talking about? Was this some sort of bluff? Trixie left on Carrot Top's counter, scouring the few papers. It comes from the mint located at Green Grass. Fight them! They're working for him! Carrot Top gasped. Green Grass was a young and ambitious member of the Night Court who was trying to force the elements into his service. He had already tried to get Lyra, the element of loyalty, and that had barely failed. If he was back, that was a big problem. That's absurd, said Flam. I've never heard of this Green Grass. That Brett could have wound up in our chains hundreds of ways, said Flam. We just came for Canterlot. Bits from all over Equestria circulate there. We probably got one of the scenes. True, said Trixie. I guess it's possible. Then, if you'd be so kind as to show me your bit bag. What? The two stallions asked together. Let's see your bits. The rest were bits of the Canterlot that you just got that one as chains. But, if they're all from the Duke's territory. We don't have to show you your money, said Flam. This is absurd. Carrot Top thought quickly as he could. Trixie had probably had information from somewhere, and whilst he could be paranoid, she'd been right the last time. Besides, Trixie was her friend, and Carrot Top was generous. She could give the little Showmare a little trust. Would it be so hard just to look at a hoofful? She asked. I will set my mind at ease. Said Flam, looking very much like a fool who's hoof con cookie jar. Do we have to? Trixie smirked. We have nothing to hide, and... But Flam noticed that Flim seemed to have an odd shade of white. He sighed, giving up the bluff. Flim, you idiot! So you are with the Duke, said Carrot Top. Now, wait a minute, said Flim, recovering some of his peppy attitude. Maybe we talked a little with Green Grass, but that doesn't mean anything we told you was untrue. We help you win for a quarter of the winnings. No need to sign on with any pony you don't want to, said Flim. But all this stuff, said Carrot Top, pointing at the ingredients. That was his money, right? They said it was one. Carrot Top shook her head. Hang up! Don't you want to win? Said Flam. Don't you know you can't beat the Apple Trust alone? Whatever you want to say about our motives, you have to see how useful we can be. You don't have to have money to hire an expert to tutor you. We know far more about this kind of thing than any of your friends. Our knowledge is literally irreplaceable, said Flam. Besides, the apples will do it too. If your places were reversed, why give them an advantage they wouldn't give you? And if you want to sign on with Green Grass later, that's great, but it's not required at all, said Flam, grinned. Like we said, you can just walk away at the end. So, what do you say? They both asked. Willing to let us train to help you win? Carrot Top paused for just a moment. She did want to win. She wanted it badly. She wanted to beat the trust. She wanted the official tasting judges to declare to the world that her food was delicious. Not just something to eat at the Apple sold out food for the day. She wanted the prize money because it would help her out so badly. She needed it, and not in the sense that the Apple Trust needed to increase their third quarter profits. She actually needed it. Flim and Flam could help her get it. Whatever their motives, they knew how to cook. But Green Grass tried to hurt Lyra. He had hurt Lyra by corrupting her mentor and friend. Carrot Top couldn't support him, no matter what. It doesn't matter that the apples would take their help, she thought. I'm not an apple. I couldn't win knowing I worked with a stallion who tried to ruin my friends' lives. It's not who I am. No, replied Carrot Top. You can take your recipes and ingredients and all that stuff away. I won't accept help from Duke Greengrass. We'd be ashamed to win with his help, added Trixie. Go on, get out of here. The two unicorns looked at each other, paused, to cast a spell together. The ingredients and recipe brought into the wagon. Flim and Flam grabbed it and began to leave. The Flam paused as he passed through the door. You know, we could help some other team. We could assure your loss instead of your victory.
I could ensure you're being bumped into the Everfree if you don't get out,
snapped Trixie. The stallions looked in a hurry. Once you were gone, Trixie chuckled.
Heh! They actually believed that story about the money, as if Greengrass would be dumb enough to give them money that could be leaked back to him.
She smiled.
Largely, those two aren't that bright. How did you really find out about them? Source McKintot,
said Trixie. Carrot Top figured that Trixie couldn't tell her more. Besides, he had more important things to know about.
It's too bad. For a moment there, I thought I had a chance.
She chuckled ruefully.
The Apples probably have 6 experts helping them by now. Sometimes I think I'm too generous. I just gave away my hope of winning this thing.
Trixie missed the pain in her voice.
Those idiots probably would have been much help anyway. What would a couple of political hacks know about cooking? A lot, actually. Recipes and tips on pressing the justice. They even brought in a bunch of ingredients. I mean, all I have is carrots. What chance do I have to go against these teams that can buy all this exotic stuff?
We can go to Canterlot.
Get some supplies to bring back. I don't have the money for it. All my bits are tied up in business stuff right now.
Carrot Top paused.
If this were happening in a month, I'd probably be able to do that, but for this new business deal I've got going.
So get a loan.
The bank is going to give me money that I can only pay back if I win a competition.
Okay then, so ask the other farmers for a loan. They know you're good, right? So they know you have a shot at winning.
They don't want to have that many bits on the hoof either.
Carrot Top and Trixie felt silent. Carrot Top sighed. She liked to get the other farmers involved, but they didn't have the money to help her buy town ingredients. Even as she just settled for having local ingredients to incorporate in her dishes, forgetting the exotic and rare stuff. She couldn't even pay the other farmers for their produce.
Ooh, wait a minute. What if... Trixie, that's it! That's a brilliant idea!
Mildly kind. Chuckled Trixie. But what idea exactly?
Can you help me contact the other farmers in town, except for the Apples, and have them meet me in town in, say, 2 hours?
Sure. I could get Dizzy and Lyra on that too, but
why? Awesome! I know what we can do. I'll beat the Apples and win this thing!
Carrot Top smiled. She knew it was a somewhat desperate plan, but she didn't least that raise her voice. It was more of a plan than she had 30 seconds ago, at least.
Let's get going!
Congratulations, hissed Flim. What a brilliant plan. Truly remarkable. Going swimmingly, isn't it? Oh, shut up. The two were going outside of town, trying to figure out a new strategy. Neither had come up with anything. Greengrass does not tolerate failure. I told you this at least 3 times before we spoke with him, grinned Flam. And now we've failed. I thought we'd spend the next week running as far as we can. No, we are the Flim Flam brothers. 2 of the greatest sprinters to ever grace the land. We aren't going to run from a hick farmer and that idiot night court friend. Flam scowled. We need some way to get her to sign on Greengrass. There better be. We spent too much of this money to come back at the hoof. Flam ignored his brother. An idea occurred to him. You'll do work. What about shame and fear? What? Flam agreed. Yes, that's it. I know how we can get that hick. Mind filling man? Right, later. Right now, we got too much. What, incidentally, means we need to get started as soon as we can. The plants we need won't pick themselves. He began to trot towards train station. Flam followed.
Aren't you come along? Called Apple Bloom. It's getting late. You promised to read my story.
Applejack stared at her field. Good mosaic, Apple Bloom. I gotta figure something out.
Well,
just making sure we got a strategy. Nothing you need to worry over.
All right. See you on the field.
Applejack nodded, but kept staring at her orchard for another few minutes. When she turned to go outside, it was with a single stream of thoughts. I don't understand it. She has to know she can't win. She has to know all that she can do is hurt us. I just know it's sales business, but after all the work we put into town, how the hell do we see wanting to just drag at us like some whiny fool? How could she not understand how important our work is, or how much this town needs us? The rest of the farmers get. They know how much we've helped them, how many disasters we helped clean up or prevent, how many long years we've made survivable with our crops. They know how much we owe us, even if they never actually call on that debt. But then again, she thought the Carrot Top had gotten it too. What if some of the others hadn't? What if they would work with Carrot Top to help her in the competition and hurt to trust? Oh, come on. They're not going to do that, she muttered. I know they rely on us. They won't hurt us. But in business, it often paid to be cautious. After Apple Blue's story, it might be wise to check up on the other farmers to see if Carrot Top ever tried to recruit them. Just in case.